Okay, guys, what a beautiful day in the Lowcountry. I get to hang out with one of my favorite friends, Todd Crockett, from one of my favorite companies in the Cleveland, Ohio area, Howard Hanna. And I tell you what, it's a beautiful day in the Lowcountry.
It is perfect, Jeff.
We're-
Dialed it up perfectly.
Perfectly. Chamber of Commerce weather,
It
right?
is, yeah.
Out here. And
Light breeze, birds chirping.
you're from Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yeah.
You admit that, right?
I do.
It's okay.
From, yeah.
From. Were you born and raised
I
there?
was, yeah.
Okay. We won't talk about how many years ago that was. Is that okay?
It's been a couple of decades now.
But one of the things that you and I have in common, and we'll talk about where we got connected, is real estate.
Sure.
You are part of one of the top agent teams in the Cleveland market. And one of the things that, when we were able to come together is this connection with Star Power Network under Howard Britton. And I tell you what, a lot of when folks know Collins Group Realty and then they know the Crockett team, there's a lot of familiarity and similarity there. Because really, you and your parents and your family, your sister, sort of originated the team concept, didn't you?
Yes, one of the first teams with Howard Britton and Star Power. So really, it worked out well as far as growing organically with the Star Power network and then seeing some other teams formulate.
Right.
So it's worked out wonderfully.
And you guys, so you really broke the mold on all that. You created it, then you broke it, and you've expanded that, and you've turned it into something that has become very commonplace in our industry.
It is.
People to team up, work together, live more of a sane, balanced lifestyle of work, right?
It is. And then you've, I think, really taken it to the next level of how things are structured and really structured to serve and have the different divisions within your team that really increases the visibility for your team, but more importantly, what enhances the service that you provide your sellers.
Well, we like that. We feel like it's a better way to do business, and I know you guys, obviously, you feel that way too. And so we're sitting down here, not in Cleveland. I know you're really happy about that. I'm happy about that. Nothing is wrong with Cleveland. One of the other things that we have in common is I was born and raised in Dayton, so we ended up having these corners of the state of Ohio covered by yourself and me. And yet here we are on Hilton Head. And that's really what we want to talk about today is the Hilton Head, Ohio connection. It started a long time ago.
Definitely.
Started a long time ago. So let's talk about that. When was the first time you made your way to Hilton Head?
What's interesting is you see the lighthouse now. I remember the very first time I saw it, we came here on a vacation and I was, I think, 14 or 15 years old. And when you fly in, first you take a drive and there's no lights, there's no street lights. It is the darkest remote drive. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be the worst vacation I've ever had. I'm never going to meet anybody here. This is going to be very boring. It's going to be camping. And then we were just at a villa here facing Harbor Town, but we pulled in at night and then opened those curtains and I could hear Greg Russell sing and you see all the lights, all the kids moving around, and I'm like, what a game changer it was. That obviously had a sparkle in my eye. I realized, wow, what a vibrant moment of your very first impact to see what Harbor Town's like.
Special place, right?
Yeah,
so
goosebumps.
About what year was that? You figure if you date back on that.
Oh, that had to be...
So it's like you were 14, 15.
1980.
Okay,
maybe?
yeah.
About that time.
Okay. So you and I really weren't off that far because when we grew up in Dayton, my parents, they weren't skiers. They didn't go to the lake. We didn't travel internationally. They just wanted to go to the beach. And one of the most reliable places that you can get to from anywhere in Ohio and have good climate, good weather at the beach, it turns out, is the very southern part of South Carolina right here in Hilton Head. So we just grew up vacationing here. I think we probably started in early 70s, 72, 73. I think maybe like Lighthouse Road Villas might have been one of the very first villas that we stayed at. And then as we progressed as a family, grew up and all the way through high school, we started renting houses over towards the beach and we would invite guests to come with us and that sort of thing. And that was pretty much the start for me.
Quite a journey. So when was the first time the family bought a house down there?
So that was back when I was in college. So back in like the late 80s, they had mom and dad purchased a property down in South Beach at Port Villas.
Okay.
And actually when I moved here in 92 and around 93, I actually rented that property out for about a year from them because they weren't renting it out then. And that ended up being my residence for about a year.
It's a great transition down here.
Pretty good transition. Allowed me to get kind of my foot in the door and kind of get involved in the local community. I was in property management, and then that allowed me to get my real estate license. And then I eventually got my broker's license and started the company back then.
It's amazing how many people from Ohio transition over to Hilton Head and certainly vacation. It is, I've probably seen thousands of Salty Dog gear, whether it's hats, T-shirts, any type of bumper sticker, all throughout Ohio. I think it's probably about 1/3 of the cars in Ohio have something on it from Salty Dog or a South Carolina sticker on it. It's certainly popular.
Well, that was always, you mentioned Greg Russell, of course, who's a fixture in this community, especially down here in Sea Pines. But most visitors eventually make their way to see Greg Russell, and he's just started up his 2025 season. And his standing joke was always sort of like, "Oh, where are you from?" And you'd say Ohio, and they'd say, "What color's your minivan?"
Sure.
And that's a little bit of a dated reference. But the point was that, this concept in real estate, friends follow friends.
Sure.
So the pattern started that a lot of people ended up coming to Hilton Head, and then they'd tell their friends, "Hey, I went down there on vacation and I bought a place." And, "Oh, you did? Let me check it out." And the next thing you know, the momentum wheel is just kind of rocking and rolling. And that really made it so that Ohio was a mainstay origination state for vacationers and property owners in the market area. And so we look at now, especially with COVID, the COVID market, moving back from that, it really seemed like everybody was from Ohio. Now we're statistically tracking over the last 3 years, we've had people from 29 different states, 30 different states, 31 different states come into this market area and buy real estate just through our group, let alone the rest of the agents. And so it kind of puts the Ohio joke a little bit behind, right?
Yeah.
There's so many other places where people are coming from.
I see Virginia license plates, all different areas there.
Yeah, and there's so much now on the west side
Well,
of
it's expanded so
Mississippi.
much, and
Yeah.
love the Bluffton area. Congratulations on the ribbon cutting.
Thank you.
The
Yeah,
office.
appreciate that. Yeah, and we're now in the modality just at Collins Group where, and we're kind of talking about why we're talking about folks from Ohio, but we don't just cover Hilton Head and Bluffton, but we also cover Beaufort. We also cover Charleston. So we're excited about being able to offer opportunities to everybody throughout the Lowcountry, South Carolina.
Sure.
And what we find is that people do shop that. They kind of want to check out these different locations, these different beach towns, different islands, etc. as they're trying to figure out their perfect landing pad. I'm trying to figure out from your perspective. You're the guy in Ohio. What are you doing in the middle of winter? This is a rough winter, I know. What are you thinking when you're in that location and you're imagining Hilton Head? What are the main things people are looking for out of this location?
Well, you're right. First off, it was a brutal winter, and you're looking to get on a bike, get on the beach, just enjoy, eat outdoors, have some crab legs. There's so many different phenomenal restaurants that we love to go to. So it's just that whole lifestyle. When you smell it, it just has a whole different vibe to it. It's that saltwater therapy that people look forward to.
Well, I know you're, good friends with your parents, Judy and David, and they would say, you don't realize, like in the middle of winter, we're looking at webcams. Like we're just looking at like the beach webcam,
Sure.
and we're just wanting to like, just show me a blue sky. And again, I know whereof I speak because I grew up in Ohio and Dayton. It was gray clouds for a lot of months.
Yeah.
So you guys are in town now. Is this a spring break for you?
Spring break for my son Christian, so he's got a week off school, so it's good to get him outdoors.
And what's he up to? What's he like to do? What are his favorite 2-3 things to do?
Ride the bikes, go on the beach.
Yep.
And it's funny. He's like, "Dad, I don't need sunscreen. I want to get sun." And I'm like, "Christian, you really need sunscreen." I've never seen him so white. I mean, I looked at his feet and I'm like, "Oh my God!" I had to immediately spray him, thinking this is going to get burnt like sausages in about a minute.
Yeah.
So you got to be aware of that when you come on down.
Does he play golf, tennis, or anything like
Flag
that?
football.
Pickleball,
Yeah.
Flag football. Okay. Yeah. Well, what you
I heard
mentioned,
you're getting into pickleball now.
yeah, I play pickleball. I just started back at that crazy game of golf too after a 25-year hiatus, and it's just a crazy game. Anybody that golfs, and I'm sure you do too. It's a game of insanity. You think you can be good, but then you get humbled, and it's just a constant battle, I think. But this is the golfing mecca. I mean, honestly, there's so many beautiful courses, public, private here, some tied in with communities, some that are just available to pay and play. So
It's amazing to see the stands that there. I remember years ago there'd be smaller stands. Now it's grandstands up on the 18th.
yeah, we just, in fact, we were just talking to the director of the golf tournament, Steve Wilmot, on one of our Porchcasts recently. And he said this is the biggest build out that they've ever had, even though they're at the point where they have the lowest number of actual players because of the level of tournament that it's now become. So it's a really exciting situation. The venue has become pretty dramatic when you walk the course.
I watched a little bit of that video. It's amazing to see how the purse has gone up.
Yes.
It's quite a prize now.
Yeah. So how many times a year are you getting down here?
We're down here at least twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah, we come down spring break time, beginning of summer. It's a good way to kick off the summer.
Yeah.
Beginning of June, it's a great time as well. And we love exploring Bluffton as well. It's wonderful there. The restaurants and vibrant community, great shopping.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that the location has to offer, and you've been good about spreading that word too. In the world of real estate, a lot of times we have the benefit of an opportunity to refer business back and forth, and we've been blessed by having you and other team members that have either done business through Collins Group or referred business to us, and which we're really grateful for. And clearly, you're spreading the word up there and perpetuating that Ohio-Hilton Head connection.
Definitely.
Which just seems to be undying. And I want to share this story. I don't know if I'd ever told you this before, but when we used to live around the corner, when the kids were just really, really young, where Martha Preston, who works for our group now, I used to have her in a bicycle jumper seat on the front handlebars of this bicycle. And so it was just like a little kid's seat. And she was just old enough where she could kind of stabilize her head with a helmet on it. And we used to, when people would come down and they'd listen to Greg Russell each night do his concert, I had developed the original Ohio Euro sticker that you see on a lot of cars, and it basically said it's OHHIO, and we had the I be the lighthouse. And we used to take those and slide them between the gasket and the glass of the driver's side door and the cars, as we would just canvass the parking lot. And we say, "Oh, there's an Ohio sticker," and she used to love doing that. We'd slide them in there as a little gift because that connection's real.
Sure.
It's real, and people end up. A lot of people end up moving down here, retiring down here, getting vacation properties and that sort of thing. It's part of the Ohio dream.
It is indeed. And no team could do a better job than the Collins Group. They do a phenomenal job with all of our clients and referrals.
Well,
it makes them feel at home, makes them feel like family.
Well, listen, then we've got this nice reciprocal relationship, not just the Ohio connection too, but the fact that you've helped us grow so much as a company and learn so much from you and your sister and your parents, and then now you've got the faith and the trust to put people in our hands for their transactions is pretty meaningful too.
Definitely.
And now you're here with Lisa. What does Lisa enjoy doing other than eating pizza, which is that's what Lisa and I have most in common.
And Lisa is an absolute master at crab legs. Apparently she grew up young eating them, so nobody can crack them better. She absolutely wastes no crab meat at all, so she puts on a clinic. So we kind of cheer her on eating crab legs.
Really?
Walking on the beach as well.
Yeah.
And photographs. So you probably see her stories all the time on Instagram. She loves
Well, you guys, listen, anybody that doesn't know you yet, and I want to make sure people get to know you and Lisa, but you guys are the epitome, the living Energizer bunnies. You have more energy, and you if there's any grand opening, if there's any event, whatever, whether it's in Cleveland, whether it's here, any place that you travel, I know you spend a lot of time in Charleston, you guys go. I don't know when you sleep.
You get a couple hours a night.
Well, it's impressive. You guys have that joie de vivre, that zest for life, no matter where you go.
Coming
and it's
from
inspiring.
you, that means a lot. He's running
10
please. Miles this morning.
Just because I'm crazy and I get up early and run doesn't mean the same thing. You guys, maybe it's because I admire your nighttime energy. After about 8 o'clock for me, I'm done. You guys are just getting going.
We make it to 10.
Yeah, you guys are just getting going. And tell me a little bit about your positioning in Cleveland. What the Crockett team's up to? Do you service that whole market area? How far out?
Yeah. All greater Cleveland area. We're helping folks relocate and move within. So the team serves east side, west side, south. So it's all greater Cleveland area.
And you guys, not only did you structure a team, but you've always been known for having a high level of production. I mean, you guys do a lot of business.
Sure.
Extremely productive and efficient.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to help 300 to 500 families a year, depending on the year, and with the smooth service structured as a team as well. So we've got closing coordinators, listing coordinators, marketing.
Yep.
To the extent the same thing here. It's phenomenal. And Ashley, great job on your videos. You do a phenomenal job of just complimenting her. We love watching those and learn from you and how to expand that as well.
Oh, well, it's nice that we get to learn from each other. One of the things I think we also have in common is we build a culture in our respective companies and teams that leads to retention. So you've got people that have been with your team for probably since the beginning. Obviously, you and your parents and Lisa for a long, long time, and a lot of your other agents. Just once you find your happy place, you don't go anywhere else, right? Because it just keeps working.
I still remember we taught one of the techniques to go ahead and put a sticker on the electric panel or the furnace of our team, so it just goes ahead. Just put any service coordinator would put that on there. And I remember walking up my folks' house, and as soon as they got the electric panel, I saw the Collins Group sticker. So good job implementing that.
The magnet, that's there. Well, anyway, this is a beautiful place for us to get to hang out and just enjoy this beautiful Lowcountry. And And I was just so glad we got a chance to kind of visit, say hello, and
Invite me anytime.
hang out.
I love it here. It's a phenomenal patio. So
Yeah, it's not a bad setup.
It is.
And we're going to be here with anybody within our Client for Life group that's available for our hospitality house we do during the tournament coming up next week or next month. And it's a good place to hang out.
You're going to love it. Ashley, you got to pan and show them the view.
Yeah, we'll make sure she gets around and shows that. All right, bud. It's good seeing you.
Always a pleasure.
Enjoy your
Yeah.
time here. See you guys soon.
Not.